Okay, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. Let's get straight into this deck profile. We are looking at Crusadia Mekk-Knight Kaiju OTK going second madness. Right, just to start us off, we have got triple Crusadia Maximus. Now this fig is crazy. Now with all the Crusadia monsters, they've got the ability to special summon themselves to a zone a link monster points to. Doesn't have to be your link monster, it can be your opponent's link monster, and each of the Crusaders have different effects on top of that. So with Maximus, what he allows is double battle damage on monsters. So if your opponent's got a monster with 0 attack, for example, and it's you've got a link monster that points to Maximus, the battle damage that it inflicts to that monster will be double. So for example, if it's 2k, it will do 4k. So this is the reason why you're allowed to OTK on top of the link monsters, which I will show you later on. Next we play triple Crusadia Leonis. Now with Leonis, he allows for piercing battle damage. So if you've got Leonis and you've got Crusadia pointing to, with a link monster pointing to each of them, they'll do double piercing battle damage, which is absolutely crazy. So regardless if they're in attack or defense, the damage is going through. Put it that way, the damage is going through. Next we play triple Crusadia Draco. Now with Draco, what Draco allows is a little bit of recursion. So to start off your Crusadia link climb combo, you normally have to start off with a normal summon. And what Draco does is when it's special summoned to a zone a link monster points to, it allows you to add a Crusadia monster from your graveyard to your hand, which can be really useful in your combos, especially if you start off with a Maximus, for example. You're going to need him to be able to do the double battle damage. Next we play double Crusadia Arborea. Now what Arborea does is she allows for protection for one of your Crusadia monsters by banishing herself from the graveyard. So she's best found in grave. Normally what I do is if I start with a reinforcements of the army in hand, I will search Arborea just to start the combos off and get her in grave early. She's really useful in that sense. Next we play double Crusadia Reclusia. Now what Reclusia does is it allows you to disrupt your opponent by attributing yourself to pop a card on the field. It doesn't tend to come up that much, especially with this deck profile in specific, because we tend to go second and we want kind of like want cards on field, and we've got a few other cards in the deck which allows to do this. So we really need our Crusadia monsters to be able to link climb into our Crusadia Equimax, which is going to be your main source of OTK. Next we play the Mekk-Knight engine. We have got Mekk-Knight Purple Nightfall at 2. Now with all of the Mekk-Knights, they've got the ability to special summon themselves to a column that's got 2 or more cards in it. So it doesn't necessarily have to be your cards, it can be your opponent's cards, it can be a combination of yours and your opponent's cards. So all the Mekk-Knights have that ability, and with Purple Nightfall what he allows is he can banish himself or another Mekk-Knight on field until the next standby phase to add a Mekk-Knight card from deck to hand. And the card you normally search for is Mekk-Knight Blue Sky. I'll put this in the middle zone here. Now what Blue Sky does, same special summoning mechanic, but what he allows is to add the addition of Mekk-Knight monsters equal to the number of your opponent's cards in that column. So if your opponent's got 2 cards in that column, for example, main monster zone and a spell or trap card zone, it allows you to add 2 Mekk-Knight monsters from your deck to your hand. So very useful. Next we play 1 Mekk-Knight Red Moon and 1 Mekk-Knight Indigo Eclipse. This is really useful, especially in our Crusadia combo. If I see this in hand to start off with, very useful, because what it allows is the movement of a Mekk-Knight. Doesn't have to be itself, it could be another Mekk-Knight to another of your main monster zone, or even out of your extra monster zone to a main monster zone. So Mekk-Knight Indigo Eclipse is very useful. Red Moon, this allows you to banish a Mekk-Knight from your graveyard to pop a monster in that column. It doesn't always come up, mainly because we're only running a small Mekk-Knight package, and I tend not to have lots of them in graveyard. However, it does come up from time to time, and obviously the attack boost when we see Equimax is the main reason why he's here. Next, onto our Kaiju package, we play triple Gameciel. Now this thing is absolutely excellent for 2 reasons. We actually play Interrupted Kaiju Slumber in this, and Gameciel actually can act as a bit of a negate. It's very effective at negating if you've got Kyoto Waterfront on field as well. So we mainly go second and we mainly try an OTK, but for whatever reason, if that's not possible, Gamma Seal Control is a thing, ladies and gents. Gamma Seal Control is a thing. So I'd like to see this in my hand. Obviously, for more times than not, I'm going to be giving this to my opponent, mainly because its attack is very low and I can just attack into it. Next, we play 1 Godala, 1 Dogaran, and 1 Jizukiru. Now, all of these are just kaijus, so if you didn't know, the kaijus have the ability to special summon themselves to your opponent's field by tributing over one of your opponent's monsters, and then if one of your opponent controls a kaiju, then you can special summon a kaiju from your hand into your side of the field, and then basically those two kaijus do battle, and you can only really control 1 kaiju at a time, hence why you play 6. I'd like to see it in my starting hand because it's basically a board break. However, if I don't, I can always search one with Kyoto Waterfront if Kyoto Waterfront are filled. It's not necessary, but it does really help. Next, for the 1-offs, we have 1 Dino Wrestler Pancratops, who is at 1. Sadly, we all know what he does, special summon himself. If your opponent controls more monsters, it can pop itself to pop 1 card on the field. Really useful card. I can see why it's at 1. Next, we are running 1 World Legacy World Crown. Now, this actually behaves like a Crusadia because it allows you to special summon it to a zone your link monster points to, and it can actually act on one of your opponent's extra deck monsters, allowing it to pop itself to negate its effect. It's kind of like a walk-in effect Vela. Really good, very good card, and it can be activated as a quick effect, so whenever you're ready. Next, another little battle hand trap. We play World Legacy World Lance. This is the OTK enabler, absolutely crazy. What this does is, if your link monster is battling, you can discard this card from your hand during the battle phase, by the way, and you can allow for your opponent's monster to lose 3,000 attack. Now, with the link monster Crusadia Mekk, that's the whole reason we play this card, because it allows you to attack into a 0 attack monster, do double battle damage, and basically wipe out your opponent in 1 turn. It's absolutely crazy. Right, for the spells, excuse me, we play 1 Crusadia Revival. So what this does is all Crusadia link monsters on the field gain 500 attack, and you can target 1 link monster on your field and allow it to attack every single monster your opponent controls. Now, this does not scream OTK. I do not know what does. This thing is an absolute beast. I only play it at 1, mainly because it's searchable, and I don't necessarily want to see 2 or 3 in my opening hand. So I play it at 1. It's really useful, especially if you see it without having to search for it. So it's really useful. If you see this and a couple of Crusadia monsters as well as a kaiju in your hand, you are looking very good. Bearing in mind this is a going second deck, so you're more times than not going to start with 6 cards in hand. Next, we play double Crusadia Power. I really like this card, that's why I play it at 2. So what Power does is it allows you to, excuse me, target a Crusadia monster on the field, and it's only affected by its own card effects and unaffected by other card effects for the rest of the turn. So you can actually chain this if somebody tries to hand trap you, if somebody tries to effect veil you, for whatever reason, you can actually chain this to one of your Crusadia monsters. I like to see this in my opening hand, particularly if I'm made to go first. I consider actually siding in another third copy, just so you can kind of like protect your Crusadia monster for a turn and then OTK for the second turn. So really useful. It's searchable as well. Next, we play 1 Crusadia Testament. Now, this has got a couple of effects. So the first effect is your opponent cannot activate cards or effects in response to the activation of your Crusadia monsters. So if you wanted to get a search off one of your link monsters, for example, your opponent cannot activate a card or effect in response to it. However, it's the second ability I use the most. So what it does is you can target one of your link monsters, and if it destroys a opponent's monster by battle, you get to draw cards equal to its link rating. So for example, if you've got Crusadia Mekk on field, you can draw 3 cards if it destroys an opponent's monster. Very useful card. I have thought about playing it at 2, but again, it's searchable, and I don't want to clog up my hand with too many spells and traps. Next, we have the solo Kyoto Waterfront. I am actually considering bumping this up to, let's put it in the middle here. I'm actually considering bumping it up to 3, because what this does is each time a monster is sent from the field to the graveyard, you put a kaiju counter on it. And when you've got a minimum of 3, maximum of 5. You can remove 3 counters and add a kaiju from your deck to your hand. So this is absolutely crazy in this deck. You can literally draw out Jizukiru, Gamecill, whoever, tribute over one of your opponent's monsters, put it in a zone that Equimax points to, and absolutely one punch them into oblivion. Fantastic card. I'm considering putting that too, but I haven't had the thought of what I would take out to get this in. Next, we are playing double interrupted Kaiju Slumber. This is fantastic. Board wipe, puts 2 Kaijus on field, 1 for your opponent, 1 for yourself. Simple as that. As well as the next turn after it was sent to the graveyard, you can actually banish it from your graveyard and add a Kaiju from deck to hand, which can be really useful from time to time. Again, I don't tend to use it that much, mainly because I try to go for the OTK on the second turn, and games are over very quickly with this deck, very quickly. Next, we have some more utility cards. We have Monster Reborno and World Legacy Succession. These are just extenders. For whatever reason, if your combo gets interrupted and you've got no response to it, you can just continue link climbing using Monster Reborn or World Legacy Succession. Fantastic cards. Next, we play Double Mind Control. Like I said, we are a going second deck. I mainly use this to just bait out a negation because they've normally set up quite a board. And again, if you're playing against spirals and that, you're trying to bait out a few negations. So yeah, Mind Control definitely at 2. Next, we play double Mystical Space Typhoon. These could actually be changed for Twin Twisters. However, I don't really like the discard cost in this deck. You want to see a few Crusaders in hand, and you want to continue to obviously combo off. Hence why I play Mystical Space Typhoon over Twin Twisters. I normally just use it to get rid of the most problematic card on the board. So if there's something like there can only be one, Mystic Mind for example, this really comes in handy. Next, we play Forbidden Chalice. Again, if there's something unfilled that you just can't seem to get over, Forbidden Chalice is your answer to that. I actually Forbidden Chalice a Topologic Zeroboros and just attacked into it and just absolutely OTK'd my opponent at locals. I think it was a couple of weeks ago now, and this thing was just crazy. He actually wiped his whole board. He thought, ha, I've got you now. Forbidden Chalice him, and he just had no response, and that was the end of the game basically. And I also run Sky Striker Mecha Hornet Drones. Now this is a bit of a little cheeky tech that I put in, and it just enables you link climb into your Crusadia monsters a little bit easier. It facilitates it a little bit easier because you can special summon this, you get a token, then you can special summon Kaina when I show you my extra deck, or you can special summon Kagari for example, and just continue your link climb that way. Fantastic card. Next, for the extra deck, we have triple Crusadia Magius. This is your combo starter. This is where you start. So this just takes one Crusadia monster, and what happens is when a Crusadia monster is special summoned to a zone, you get to add a Crusadia monster from your deck to your hand. Fantastic. Allows you to continue with your combos, and you basically can choose whichever Crusadia monster you want. It also gains attack equal to the monster that it points to, and all the Crusadia monsters or the pure Crusadia monsters have this ability. Next, we play double Crusadia Regulex. Regulex allows you to add a spell or trap from your deck to your hand, which is a Crusadia spell or trap. Hence why I only play one of the field spells, which is searchable. But you can also search Crusadia Power with this. Again, this guy gains attack equal to the original attack of the monsters that it points to. So if you special summon a Kaiju, for example, say Jizukiru, who's got 3300, he will go up to 4300. And if there's a monster in this monster zone that points to, but it's on your opponent's side of the field, it will go up to whatever that attack is. Fantastic card. You can actually OTK with this if you're clever about it. But the big OTK daddy is this guy right here. Crusadia Equimax. This guy is One Punch Man in the flesh. So what he does, he's got 2 effects. So it gains the attack, the original attack of the combined, gains the combined attack of the monsters this card points to, the original attack. So you can imagine if you've got a Crusadia Leonis, you've got a Crusadia Equimax. Leonis is 12, I think Equimax is 16, and then you've got a monster on your opponent's side of the field. All of those attacks add up, and he can literally attack into it. And if he's got Maximus, he's doing double battle damage. He's got Leonis, and they're in attack defense position, he's doing piercing double battle damage. It's just super effective. And with the field spell zone, you're allowed to attack into every monster that your opponent controls. So you're doing double piercing battle damage into 2, 3, 4 monsters. It's absolutely fantastic. This is the reason why the OTK works, by the way. Next we play 1 Crusadia Spatha. This just allows you to move one of your monsters. For example, if you manage to do your combo, you get interrupted for whatever reason, you can actually move a monster out of the way, special summon one of your Crusadias to this zone, and then continue with your link climb into Crusadia Equimax. And finally we have a Mekk-Knight Crusadia Avamax. Now the reason why he is in here, he's not necessarily essential to the OTK, but he's very, very, very difficult to get rid of. And what I tend to do is, if I'm forced to go first, I'll link climb into Crusadia Avamax. I will search my Crusadia power, set it, and in their standby phase, or flip power and activate power. So he basically can't be removed from the field because he can't be destroyed by battle, can't be targeted by card effects, and he's unaffected by card effects. So he can't be sent from the field by Gengisu. He just literally sits there until it's your turn again. Absolutely fantastic card, hence why he is in here. I'm only playing him at 1. Pretty pricey card, to be honest, but there's no real substitute for him. He's just that useful. Next, for the Mekk-Knight package, we play 1 Mekk-Knight of the Morning Star and 1 Mekk-Knight Spectrum Supreme. From time to time I'll go into this, but Morning Star, what it allows is he cannot be destroyed by battle, or Mekk-Knight monsters cannot be destroyed by battle with cards in a different column. So this guy just is annoying, is a nuisance, especially if you've got Indigo Eclipse on the board. You can move him to wherever you want, whichever monster zone you feel comfortable with. Mekk-Knight Spectrum Supreme, this guy cannot be targeted by card effects or destroyed by card effects, and if it points to no monsters, it can attack directly for 3k, punch in the face, as easy as that. So quite useful. Like I said, I go into him more a lot than compared to the amount of times I go into Mekk-Knight Spectrum Supreme, but he's always there as an option. Next, for our Sky Striker package, we have Sky Striker Ace Kaina and Sky Striker Ace Kagari. Like I said before, with Mecha Hornet Jones, basically this is a easy combo. So you can play Mecha Hornet Jones, you can go into your Sky Striker Ace, is it Kaina, I believe? Yeah, so you can go into Kagari, add the Mecha Hornet Jones back from field, link your Magius and your Sky Striker Ace Kagari off, and then you can special summon using the Hornet Jones once again, because it's not once per turn, and go into your Kaina and then continue your plays from there. Because the the Crusadia monsters don't really care whatever special summon to them, they get the search, or they get the search for their field style or the monster cards. So 2 fantastic cards, a bit of utility there. You could change this out for another package. I just find this useful because if I see it works, if I don't see it, it's not a problem, basically. So yeah. And then finally, for a bit of utility, we run 1 Nightmare Phoenix. For whatever reason, if there's a problem card, I don't have power, or I don't have Mystical Space Typhoon, I'll go into a Phoenix just to pop a card on the field to allow me to continue my plays. This only deals with spells and traps. Monsters we really want on the field, hence why I'm not playing Nightmare Cerberus. Basically because obviously the OTK capabilities and Nightmare Cerberus kind of conflicts with that. So we run 1 Nightmare Phoenix. As for the side decks, ladies and gents, no side deck. It's really dependent on your locals. My locals is a mishmash of everything, so hence why my side deck isn't on show. But if you do want to see a side deck, be sure to leave a comment in the comment section, and I will catch you guys on the next video. Hope you enjoyed the deck profile. Peace.